What's up, guys? So this video today is a little bit different from usual. I wanted to share with you a clip from my group coaching program that I'm doing right now in the build up to releasing my course very soon. And in this clip, it's going to be about 15 to 20 minutes long, and we're talking about positioning. This is something I talk about a lot. So we're talking about positioning, the power of positioning, what I mean by that, and some common mistakes that people make with their positioning. And this is the kind of stuff that is very much more detailed, high level. This group coaching call went on for nearly 2 hours, so this is just a short excerpt from it, but I want to give you a glimpse into what this looks like to help you improve your positioning, because this is the kind of stuff that can set your business and your agency apart from the others. So in a second, we're going to roll the clip, 15-20 minutes or so from the group program. All this kind of stuff is going to be covered in even more depth in the course when it comes out, and all these previous group coaching calls will be included in that too. So if you do want to find out more about the course and when it's ready, and you want to be one of the first people to get access to it, make sure you go ahead and click the link in the description below. I hope you enjoy this new style of video, and let's just roll the clip now. What is positioning? Why is positioning important? So for me, the way that I define positioning is, a lot of you guys will understand what personal branding is, right? That's why you're here in this course, in this program, and you're going to love the program and the course when it's done. I am working super hard on that behind the scenes. As I told you last week, I've just hired someone to help me build this out, and we're doing some really cool stuff. But personal branding is the vehicle that we're going to utilize, one of the many vehicles that we're going to utilize to help us build a successful online six-figure business, right? And personal branding is becoming, using yourself as your brand and using that to attract clients, leads, all kinds of stuff. And I define that as positioning yourself as the authority within your niche. Now, positioning is almost a subset of personal branding, in my opinion. So positioning is what people think of you when they see you. So how do you portray yourself online and in the real world too? How do you portray yourself online? If someone says, okay, Dylan, hey, what do you think about me first? If someone says, Becky, what do you think about Becky? If someone says, Graham, what do you think about Graham? And I don't want us to get really deep and start worrying about what people are thinking of us from a nervous standpoint, from thinking about, oh, I don't want people to think this about me, I don't want people to think that about me. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what your message is, how clear you are with your message, and how people see you. I'm very strategic with my content, which you're going to learn about, and you're going to discover why I do things the way I do them and how I do them. You're going to discover that in today's session. And this is positioning. So it's all about being truthful is extremely important. A lot of you've bought into my stuff, and you'll hopefully have got the idea by now that I am about as authentic as it comes. I don't bullshit anybody. There are a lot of people out there that do. For me personally, positioning is all about sharing stories, telling stories, positioning yourself in the right way while still being 100% truthful. I don't want to encourage any of you to lie about any of your achievements, any of your results. Everything must be true, in my opinion. And positioning is how you can mold the way people think about some of those results, or the way people see you based on some of those results, etc. So I hope that makes sense. That is my kind of basic definition for positioning. Have any of you guys, let me know in the chat, I know we have a slight delay, but tell me if you've actually sat down before and really thought about, if you've created any content, or if you are starting your personal brand, or you already have a personal brand already, how many of you have actually sat down and thought about the way people perceive you? And as I said, again, not from an anxious standpoint. I know some of you struggle with confidence sometimes, which is totally fine. And some of you don't feel like you're extroverts, which again is totally fine. I'm one of the most introverted people you'll ever know. But what I'm meaning is, have you really consciously planned out, okay, if I'm doing this piece of content, this is what it's going to make people think, and this is the result that it's going to drive? How many of you have done that? Ryan, I'm so glad that this is what you've been waiting for. Positioning is one thing that I love to talk about. When the course is done, I'm going to go super, super deep in the program about this, and share some resources, recommendations. Today we're going to go live. I have a couple hours. I have to go and do a webinar at midnight my time, and it's now 9:10, so I can spend a good amount of time on this evening too, as long as we have enough stuff to cover. And I'm also happy to work with you one-to-one on some of these things too. So we'll go through that tonight. I think I'm going to show some stuff that is going to be great for you especially. I know, Ryan, you've thought about this, so that's good. I'm also keen to hear what you've thought about this, and what you've changed maybe recently, or what behaviors you've implemented. Because I know, Ryan, we're going to talk about PR a bit later on, which is for people that are a bit more of a higher level and have some more budget. But I'm pretty sure, Ryan, I've seen you investing in some PR, unless I've completely got that wrong. But let's get to that in a second. So let's go to common mistakes first and run through those. I'm just going to move my screen down, and then I'm going to switch to the slide. Okay, cool. Can you guys see this on the screen? I don't know if you'll be able to see the posts on the left or the posts on the right, but I'll explain what they are if you can't. Let me actually just move a couple things around so you can have a better view and hopefully see a bit more stuff as well. So there are lots of mistakes that people make with positioning, right? But I'm going to show two of the biggest common mistakes that people are making. And I've screenshotted these two things to make a very clear point. So I actually noticed both of these posts yesterday in the ClickFunnels group. I'm in the ClickFunnels Facebook group. I'm sure most of you guys and girls will be. If not, I recommend you join it if you're in the internet marketing, online marketing space. Now, this post on the left was written by a guy called Dan Henry. Dan Henry has seen some incredible success with his personal brand and his online coaching businesses over the last couple of years. I modeled the launch of this beta program on something that Dan Henry recommends, where I essentially pre-launch a program to people, build out the program with you guys, and give it to you at a reduced cost because you help me shape the program. I give you live training, etc. And then I can build out a course without having to go away for 2 months and build out a course for free. Like, I'm getting paid to build out the course and provide you with a ton of value. This was one of Dan Henry's strategies. He's in the 2 Comma Club for ClickFunnels even, which means he's made over $1 million in one single funnel. He basically makes a ton of money online. He has a lot of training programs, courses, etc. Now, Dan Henry, this image on the left-hand side, he wrote this post, and this picture on the left is him. He used this in a Facebook ad, like maybe last year or the year before. There's a picture of him asleep with his Stripe account showing an insane amount of money that he'd made in each day, right? Like 23,000 one day, 37,000 the next day on a course when he was still fairly new to this. And this ad really stuck out at the time. I remember seeing some backlash from it in a number of online marketing groups. And it really stood out, and that's what you want from an ad. Like, I'm fine to cause division if it's going to stand out. That's the whole purpose of an ad. So I'm going to get to the point of the story in a second. But what you see on the right-hand side down here, if you see this dude, he's copied exactly what Dan Henry's done, but he's actually photoshopped in on the screen these numbers. So these aren't even real numbers. He's photoshopped them in, and he's ran the ad very, very similar to Dan Henry's ad. And then over on the right-hand side, this is another Facebook post from a friend of mine. Oh, not really a friend of mine, but someone that I've met a couple of times called Maxwell Finn. He is awesome at Facebook ads. He is in the AdLeaks Gold group, which is a mastermind group for people spending a lot of money on Facebook and Google ads. He does a number of online training programs and courses. He's making, again, serious cash online. And this is an example of someone on Instagram who has literally copied his copywriting word for word and then post it out as their own ad. So my point here is a massive common mistake that people make is because they're so worried about what people think of them. I know I told you to think about what people think of you because this is really important, but I'm thinking about it strategically. Most people are so worried about impressing people, and that's it, that's all they think about, that they just go out and copy other successful people and they think that's okay. Now, I'm all for modeling success. Like, for example, Dan Henry, he talked about the beta launch course program, and he recommends that people do it. And I've modeled what he's done, but I'm not copying things word for word, and I'm going through his training to learn this. I would never copy someone's ad copy word for word. I would never copy someone's style. Like, there are so many people in the online marketing space or any business spaces right now that see someone that's having success, and instead of like trying to reverse engineer that success and be their own person, they're just literally copying them. And that's why there are, like, I know I'm someone that does like personal branding, right? And agency building. I know we have people in here. Ryan does e-commerce. We have people that do LinkedIn lead gen. There's like, we all have competition, but one way to set yourself apart from that competition or the people that are doing better than you isn't to copy them. Like, that is just crazy. If you copy someone word for word, style for style, and you're not your own person, you're not your own personality, how are you going to build out successful personal brand, and how are you going to see success? Yes, you might see some fast, but what happens is you end up getting backlash. People like Dan Henry, they're going to fucking call you out, right? And eventually this will happen where people will see what you're doing, they'll understand what you're doing, and they won't be happy with it. So this is a massive common mistake that people are a bit nervous about positioning themselves as this successful figure, this authority, this leader, and they don't know how to do it. So instead of learning and trying and testing, experimenting, being themselves, they just literally blatantly copy others. And hopefully this is why you're in this program, is because you want to test this, you want to learn this, but you want to like speed up that process. And the way to speed up that process is working with someone like me and going through a program like this rather than just copying word for word. Does that make sense, everyone? Just give me a yes in the chat if that makes sense, and if you see things like this and what your opinions on stuff like this is too. This is the first common mistake that we're going to talk about. Also, I apologize if I look like a sweaty mess right now, but it is like 9 p.m. and which is fine. I'm cool with that. That's not the problem. But the weather out here is like, I'm just looking on my phone right now. I don't know if you guys can see this. It's 28 degrees Celsius and the humidity is 88% humidity. So it's hot, right? It's really hot. I'm not used to this. I came from the winter in Tallinn where it was like snowing and minus. But okay, cool. So Ryan says, yeah, that makes sense. Becky says, yes. So let's move on to the second common mistake. And I'm going to use myself as an example here because I messed this up. Now, when I first started building my brand when I was working at Hootsuite. In the sales team at Hootsuite, I was trying to book meetings with really high-level executives at Fortune 500 businesses to show them how using a social media tool like Hootsuite can improve their business. We were trying to sell them like massive 6-figure-a-year deals and then implement social media and social selling into their teams and into their organizations. That's when I first started building my personal brand. But that was like early. That was like Dylan Hay Personal Brand 1.0, right? Then when I left there and I started working for Leadfeeder, that's when my personal brand evolved to not being just targeted towards building Hootsuite and getting sales conversations. This is when I started to build my personal brand around myself. So rather than just being the expert that works at Hootsuite, I'm now the expert that is Dylan Hay. And that was Dylan Hay 2.0. But one of the biggest mistakes I made is I did everything that I saw successful people doing. So what you're seeing on the screen, this is my YouTube channel. I never deleted a video off YouTube, but this is my YouTube channel from like a year and a half ago now, I think. And you can see my videos were like Helsinki, exploring the city. Like I thought I was a vlogger or something, right? Hiking in Edinburgh, visiting Tallinn, being at London Tech Week, taking my drone somewhere in the countryside. And the biggest problem here was that I was modeling, not even modeling, I was just looking at what other huge influencers and people were doing and copying that because I thought that was the right thing to do. But I had no end goal with my brand or with my content. I was just creating content for the sake of creating content. Now, this is probably the biggest mistake people make when they first want to get into personal branding. And I know some of you will be doing it too. It's like, okay, you understand, you're already one step ahead. You understand that building your personal brand is going to help you like drive your business forward and see more success in your business. You understand that, which is awesome. That's more than most people, right? So then you think, okay, what I need to do next is start with content. I need to start branding myself. I need to start talking about myself, my business, how I can help people, sharing value, all this kind of stuff that you see me do, that you see other people do. So then you just do it. You just start creating content, right? But you have no plan. This is a huge mistake that I made. So if you look at this content, what value is this adding to anyone? And how is this making me bring more people into my business? You know, guys, I have 2 businesses, right? I have this training and coaching business where I'm going to be launching this course soon. I one-to-one coach and consult with people. And I've got this group coaching program with you all right now. That's one. Then the second is my agency. And you know I serve SaaS companies with paid ads. Does this content, like just look at these video topics, and this is just my YouTube channel. This isn't any of my other stuff that I was doing too. I was creating loads of LinkedIn content. I have my Facebook group, all this other stuff. Is any of this going to drive results for me and my business? No, it's not. And this is a mistake that a lot of you are going to be making. And I'm not going to like call anyone out or go through your profiles and be like, look, this is what you're doing, because that's not going to benefit us. But so many people will be doing this. And this is only something that I've changed with my mindset over the last year now, is that, okay, every time I'm creating content, first of all, the content, I've understood why I'm putting it together and how it's going to position me in the marketplace. But then I've really focused on, okay, is this content going to help drive my business forward? And if it's not, it doesn't get posted. It doesn't go out. So now it's like, okay, yes, maybe every so often I'll post a video similar to this. Like if you look at my YouTube channel a couple of weeks ago, I posted a video of a villa tour of the place we were staying in Bali. And you might say, Dylan, that adds no value to anyone. And it's not going to drive business for your personal branding, your coaching, consulting, or your agency. But actually that video is a positioning play, because a lot of people that watch my stuff and are going to end up working with me and buying my course and coming into my programs are people that want to build a 6-figure online business through their personal brand or whatever vehicle it is that they choose. And they want to purchase, advise, programs, work with people who are living the life that they want to be living right now and they're not there just yet. And if I show you this amazing, beautiful villa that I'm staying at in Bali, the fact that I can come out here for a month, I can run my business from here, I can still continue to grow the business, and I can show you this and give some advice in that video too, that is a positioning play. It's what's called a soft flex. I'm not like, look at my Lambo, this is amazing, but I'm soft flexing, I'm showing off a little bit, which I'm happy to do, that's okay, as long as I'm not an absolute arse about it. I'm showing off a little bit, but that is a positioning play, and this is what we mean by positioning. Like, I've strategically thought that piece of content through. Whereas this shit right here, I was just recording this because I thought it was the right thing to do. I mean, it's cool for me to now look back at this. Like, these videos are super cringy for me, but it's good to have these memories. But in terms of driving my business forward, building my brand, they're not useful. They really, really aren't. And this is a massive mistake that people make, not just with YouTube videos, with Instagram content, with LinkedIn posts, with Facebook posts. Like, you just don't have a plan. People just start pumping this stuff out and thinking that it's going to drive results. And look, you can pump out loads of content every single day, and maybe it'll increase your follower numbers and your ego will become inflated. But if it's not pushing your business forward and growing your bank account, it's totally worthless. Like, some of you guys have been with me since the beginning, since I first, I say since the beginning, but since I first launched the Facebook group, right? I got the Facebook group to like 400 or 500 members in a couple weeks, but I had no plan with it whatsoever. I had no way to monetize that audience. And I was building this audience. I got my LinkedIn audience to like literally 10,000 followers very quickly, but I had nothing, like I was doing nothing with it. And that is just such an ego play, and it's because I was thinking, oh, this is great, I'm getting all these followers, all these people in my group, all these people that are reaching out to me, asking me questions, asking for support maybe, but I had no way to actually impact them and help drive their bottom line forward and drive my business forward. And this is a huge mistake that so many of you will be making. So when it comes to like content, if we come back to the positioning standpoint, because this is really important, like in a minute, we're going to look at like my next slide here. We're going to look at some solid examples of positioning. I'm going to share my screen and go through some with you. So let's just keep on this screen for right now. But like when it comes to positioning, this is the kind of stuff you want to be thinking about, right? And to give you a better idea, I'm going to start sharing my screen and just show you some examples of people that have done this well. I'll use myself first as an example because, of course, I can talk about myself very easily because this is what I've done and I can explain why I've done it. But then I'll go through some other ones too. And then we'll start to talk about like how you can use your social media for positioning and some other positioning tips and tricks and hacks. Does that sound okay for everyone? Okay, if you made it this far, you're an absolute trooper. I hope you found that video useful, insightful. Just remember that was only a clip from this 2-hour call that we went through. And yeah, if you want to find out more, if you want to learn more about the course, the link is in the description down below. You'll be updated when there's more information. If you enjoyed the video, you found it useful, you found it insightful, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe to the channel.